Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new to my channel, hello. My name is Gabby and welcome. If you've never been here before, never watched any of my videos, have no idea what I do here on my channel, I cover true crime cases, and all the cases that I cover are a little bit older. They're all basically 20 years or older, so if that's something that you might be interested in, maybe go down below, click that subscribe button, and also make sure to turn on the post notifications to be notified every time that I upload. So a long time no see. It's been about 2 weeks since I've released a video, and as you all know, if you are a longtime subscriber of mine, I hate taking breaks on my channel, but I am in the process of moving, which is very exciting, but everything's a bit chaotic, and I am going to have a different background quite soon, so things are gonna look a little different on my channel in a few videos from this one. But this video is not about me. It's about a case that I've wanted to share on my channel for quite a few years now. It's one that I've continuously looked into, and definitely a case that falls under the category of missing without a trace, because there's just no trace with this one. But before I get into the case, I do have to say that today's video is sponsored, and it is sponsored by a company I love working with, and that is Green Chef. What is Green Chef? Well, Green Chef is owned by another brand I enjoy, which is HelloFresh. Green Chef is a CCOF certified organic meal kit company that helps you cook clean, flavorful meals week after week with step-by-step recipes and pre-measured premium ingredients that ultimately save you time. Whatever lifestyle you lead, Green Chef can cater to you. Whether you're keto and paleo, vegetarian, gluten-free, vegan, they also have a fast and fit plan. And if you love Mediterranean flavors, you're definitely in luck. My two personal favorite things about the brand are that, one, every meal is designed by chefs who use their skills to create delectable dishes, and two, that everything is already measured out with each meal, so you don't have to worry about money you'll be wasting not using the rest of those food items in your fridge. Cooking is definitely my love language. Anyone I care for, I want to cook for them, and Green Chef gives me the opportunity to do that without putting in so much time and effort and stress trying to come up with the perfect meal. They have it taken care of. If you want to try Green Chef yourself, you can use my code gabulosis60 at checkout, and you will get 60% off plus free shipping. You can go to greenchef.com for more details about that. Thank you, Green Chef, for sponsoring today's video, and let's get right into the case. Today, we're going to be going over the disappearance of Reed Jeppson. Reed Taylor Jeppson was born on May 28th of the year 1949 to parents Elizabeth Whitaker Taylor Jeppson and Edward Mayer Jeppson in Salt Lake City, Utah. From my research, Reed had come from a pretty large family. His parents in total would go on to have 13 children. In the year of 1964, the Jeppson family, they still lived in Salt Lake City at the address of 1951 Browning Avenue South. It was near Emigration Canyon, but they did have a vacation home in Montana that they visited quite frequently. This family was definitely, from everything I read, a loving and close-knit family. That's for sure. During that year of 1964, Reed was 15 years old and a sophomore attending East High School. Reed had a lot of hobbies and things he enjoyed doing. He was an Eagle Scout. He played on his school's football team. He had a job as a local paper boy. He definitely kept busy. He loved the outdoors, and he spent a lot of his time training the family's dogs to hunt birds. He was very studious, incredibly responsible and reliable, and he was very popular amongst his peers. No one really had anything negative to say about the teenager. His younger brother Dan was quoted saying, "We used to wrestle together. He was just a great brother. He was like my bodyguard, always there to protect me." One thing about the Jeppsons was that they were very religious, and they attended church every Sunday, with Sunday, October 11th of 1964 being no different. After the family got back home from Sunday church, a little time later, and a clothing change from his church clothes, Reed decided that he was going to go feed and walk the family's dogs. The dogs being two German short-haired pointers. One was an adult and one was still a puppy, and they were kept in a location about 200 yards from the family home. From my findings online, one of these dogs had actually previously gone missing about 2 weeks before, but was now back safe with the family. Reed told his sister that he would be back home in about half an hour for food that was going to be done for Sunday dinner. Sunday dinner usually being a little earlier, he left the home at about 12:45 p.m. We do know that a friend of Reed's saw him walking the dogs near the college St. Mary's of the Wasatch, which is a school that has since been torn down. He was seen at about 1 p.m. that day and was seen wearing the clothes that he changed into earlier, which was a white knit cotton shirt, a reversible parka, one side was black and one side was blue Levi's jeans, and gym shoes. The 30 minutes that Reed was supposed to be back home by passed and he was still not home. His family was not too worried at first. They thought maybe he was just taking his time, decided to go on a longer walk, maybe ran into someone he knew and struck up a conversation. But when hours and hours and hours ticked by, they knew that something was wrong. This was not like Reed. This was not in his character to just leave his family wondering where he was. His family decided to go out searching for him. And after hours of searching and making phone calls to people that Reed knew, his family notified the local authorities of Reed's disappearance a little after midnight at 12:42 a.m. This is again one of those cases where the police initially thought that this individual was a runaway, but there was nothing, no evidence, no signs, no talk, no nothing that would point to that being the case. And his family did not believe that theory for even a millisecond. This was a 15-year-old high school student who had just recently scored his first touchdown for his football team. He was happy. He never expressed to anyone that he wanted to just up and leave his life behind. He only left home with his 2 dogs and the clothes on his back. He brought no money with him, and he had about $60 that he had saved up from his paperboy job. If he was going to run away, don't you think that he would have brought this money with him? It was actually one of his sisters that brought up the theory that she thought that he may have been kidnapped, taken against his will. Investigators, though, at the beginning were insistent that there was no evidence of foul play, which my response to that is that there's no evidence at all. How can you say there's no evidence of foul play when there's just nothing to go off of other than an individual and 2 dogs disappearing on a walk? Although authorities thought he was a runaway and they were stuck on that theory, an alert was issued across 3 states. There was a large search done for him and tons of media coverage about his disappearance, but tips never seemed to go anywhere promising. There had been a few reported sightings of Reed, but police never considered them very solid, besides the main one from his friend. Information is quite limited in regards to this case, but according to an article released by the Salt Lake Tribune on November 4th of 1964, the search was still going on at this time. A few passing motorists had claimed that they spotted the dogs, but these sightings could never be verified. The dogs still have never been located. Police received a tip that Reed may have been traveling to Kansas City, Missouri, but according to police, no evidence of his whereabouts were discovered in that location. For months and months and months after his disappearance, authorities, with the help of volunteers, searched many different locations around the Salt Lake City area. A lot of those areas were very rugged, steep, quite dangerous, but they never found anything in relation to Reed's disappearance. They even told hunters in these areas to consistently be on the lookout for the dogs or dog carcasses while in the woods. It was genuinely like Reed and his 2 dogs just vanished because, like I said at the beginning, there was just no trace, and there still is no trace to this day. This case went so cold, so fast, that authorities stopped actively looking into it in 1966, only 2 years after it happened, and it was completely closed 30 years later in 1996. Reed's sister, Suzanne Tate, told Deseret News in 2010, "Our family has suffered a terrible loss from 45 years ago. We're still anxious to find out what happened to him." That year of 2010 would be when they finally reopened his case. They did end up releasing an aged enhanced image of what Reed Jeppson could have looked like after 45 years. Reed Jeppson's case is currently the oldest active missing persons case of the Salt Lake City Police Department. Police have taken DNA samples from the Jeppson family to put into the system in case there is ever a John Doe that may be a possible match to Reed. 2 years after his case was reopened, and this was 2 years after the aged enhanced picture was released to the public, which is 2012, authorities in Salt Lake City extensively searched a gully near the Jeppson home after receiving a tip from a man who claimed he saw bones there that looked like bones from a larger dog and a smaller dog. There has since been a marker set up for Reed in Larkin Sunset Lawn Cemetery. This is the cemetery where he would be laid to rest if they ever found his remains. This is where some of his siblings are buried and his parents. Reed's father passed away in 1965, which was only a year after Reed went missing, and his mother passed away in 1994. Both of them and many of Reed's siblings are all gone without ever knowing what happened to him. Reed's remaining loved ones, though, are still fighting for the truth today. Reed's sister Suzanne told ABC4, "You just keep thinking, what happened to my little brother? What did he go through?" She goes on to say, "We just feel like our family has been robbed of a wonderful addition to the family. His chance for life was stolen from him." Reed Taylor Jeppson was a Caucasian male with blonde hair and blue eyes. He stood at about 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighed about 140 to 150 pounds. He had braces at the time of his disappearance. If he were still alive today, he would be 73 years old. If you have any information regarding the disappearance of Reed Jeppson, you are urged to contact the Salt Lake City Police Department at 801-799-3000. Remember that you can stay anonymous. Yes, this is a shorter case. There's not a lot of information, but there still are many theories out there regarding what may have happened to Reed. According to the news segment that I referred to before, done by ABC4, some family of his thinks that he may have fallen down into a cave in a mountain in the area somewhere during his walk. His sister Suzanne, though, she leans towards another theory, and she thinks that a pedophile in that area may have targeted him and killed him, disposing of his body and the dog's remains somewhere in the area, and they just have not come across them yet. There was a known sex offender in that area that was questioned by authorities, and he did act a bit strange at one point during questioning, almost like he was kind of smiling. Was this because he was nervous? We don't know, but they never found any evidence to tie him to Reed's disappearance, and they said that he was never violent from what they know, which I personally don't think you can automatically rule somebody out as having no involvement just because they don't seem violent and they have nothing on their record that points towards them showing any violence in the past. I believe, though, and this is just a personal opinion, just after researching into this, that wherever Reed is, the dogs are as well. I do believe foul play was involved in some way. Most every person I come across with a write-up regarding the case does think that as well. Even all these years later, people believe that someone in that area knows something. Yes, the Jeppson family lived in quite a safe area, but someone definitely could have targeted Reed. This case happened quite a few decades ago, and sometimes when I cover cases like this, people will comment and they will say things along the lines of, you know, it happened so long ago, nothing's going to come of it, why even talk about it? I don't think that's true, because the next case that I'm going to be covering on my channel had an update in it. It was solved after 93 years. So you just never know what could happen in a case. I do want to give a quick shout out, though, to a friend of mine, Anthony of crimeblogger1983.blogspot.com. He did a write-up of this case. This is where I got a lot of my information from. He does write-ups on a lot of cases. He does great work. And some of the cases that he does write-ups on, he is the only person on the internet with that firsthand information, so make sure to go check out his page. With all of that being said, thank you for taking a little bit of time out of your day to hear about Reed's case. If there's any cases that you want me to possibly cover here on my channel, make sure to send those over to gabulosiscaserequests@gmail.com. Have a great rest of your day, stay safe, and I will see you in the next one.